All right, we're here, Race Brain Podcast, new and improved. It's great to see you guys virtually. We saw you enough in person. Jack Bauer's here. Bracken Crocker's here. My name is Rich Ryan, Race Brain Podcast. Guys, what's up?
It's a great weekend. We got the picture that everybody always wanted. The four of us and Kirk.
You know what my first takeaway?
From the entire weekend?
Fit. Jack looked as lean and as veiny and as defined as I've ever seen him.
I don't know if you're joking or not, but...
No. I agree with this take. That is a great takeaway.
I am working very hard during rehab. I'm not being a bum, and I think I've always been a good eater, but I think that I've been watching it a little bit more because I'm not burning as many calories, and I still feel like I'm in reasonable shape, and once I can run again, I'm really excited for the rest of the year if I can get in that top 20 spot.
How many Go Macro bars are in your pockets right now?
Right now, 0 because I ate them. Rich was making fun of me because I carry around an emergency snack when I go to weddings. Just
not snack, not singular.
Okay, there were 2. Fine. That's not a lot of food.
And like a fruit leather.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Just
you
in
give
case
him
I got
5
sick of the
years,
chocolate taste.
He's going to look like an athletic trainer on the side of a football game where he's got that big belt with all the different things that go into. He's going to have his sunscreen and his other sunscreen and his emergency sunscreen and snacks and different sunglasses.
Bracken, I donated to the Crocker family afterwards. I gave you my leftover sunscreen. So
you did.
That's true.
We tried to return it.
Even though it was
tried to return it.
It's true. It was like 10 p.m. And I know Bracken was like, Jack needs this at all hours of the day.
We're
no matter what.
We're underneath the street light. We gotta cover him up.
But overall, great weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Great weekend. It's great to see you guys. That was the first time I think we've all been in the same place knowingly at the same time where we've been Race Brain Podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've been together at City Field before, the 3 of us. I've never been in the same place. You guys didn't go to San Luis Obispo, and one other time I met Kirk in person.
Was there a Tahoe?
Probably.
Bracken might have been doing No, I did 16 and 17.
I also did.
You were there, Rich.
16 and 17. Kirk did 16.
I unknowingly... I was talking with Kirk coming out of the swim at Tahoe 60 in the first year because I was cramping over a wall because of the cold temperature, like landing on my feet after coming over that first wall. And he was like, it's cold out here or something like that. So that was our first interaction.
Wow.
And
were you like, man, your hair's red too?
I was like, what's up, man? We're going to be friends someday.
Yeah. Awfully bright out here.
Yeah. You want to hide under that tree?
Once it becomes dusk, though, I'm laser focused.
Yeah.
I was talking with Lisa about it, where I saw probably Jack, a dozen times throughout the years, but we were never boys.
I know.
We were acquaintances at best. And then Rich, even when we raced at City, we weren't really like boys yet.
Not really.
We were in between acquaintances and boys, but we cooled down together, and but that was like the first time we'd really talked.
Yeah, no, I guess that was not really Race Brain. That was before. That was pre.
Yeah. We've been talking, but in person, that was our first time really doing the thing. So we've had all this time where we just wasted our friendship opportunities.
No longer. That won't happen any longer.
Rich is the organizer. He's the reason this all happened because he's making the podcast in the first place. And
I was like, we all need to be friends. We're doing ourselves a disservice. Life is short. We're in our 30s. Let's be friends.
Of all, Lisa and I were chatting afterwards about, the couples and everything. And I'm firmly in the mind of all the places on earth with all the people I've met, there's a highest concentration of people I could be friends with and live near in Colorado right now of anywhere else. Between you guys, Kent, we got some people in Boulder. I would like Callie's up there. I get along with the most people in Colorado in terms of like there's people you can be friends with, and then there's people you could like see daily. Mm-hmm. And I could see you guys daily, I think.
That'd be great. Nice. Come hang out.
$78 flights to Colorado right now. I was just looking.
Sun Valley?
I don't have access to Sun Valley.
Let me tell you, Rich, that was actually a fantastic flight.
Okay.
To be honest, $99 each way, so $200 round trip. Flew Colorado Springs to Minneapolis. What are the odds that those two city pairs that exist? And it debuted like a month before this. But They didn't charge you for, a normal size backpack like Spirit does getting on there. It looked like a retrofitted Southwest flight. So not like crazy legroom, but not crammed in there like sardines. And they gave you water like without charging. It was just a regular airline, but it was cheaper. I don't know their business model, but I was impressed.
The Minneapolis airport is a delight too.
Especially if you're in Terminal 2.
It's truly a delight. The best one in the country. We could
some sarcasm.
No, I'm serious. It's an
you think
amazing.
It's the best airport?
Yeah, I like. There was
Wow.
it had won some sort of award. We saw some sort of plaque, but it was clean. There's like live music around just because everything worked, which is not always the case.
It was bright, like nice,
Bright.
good amount of just natural sunlight in there. You didn't feel like you were in LaGuardia back in the day.
The signage, there was
Or
two.
Philadelphia.
Oh no! Like you go to Philadelphia and you know what you're in for for your entire
just
stay.
get
As
me
soon
on
as you
this
get there,
flight.
you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Their signage, there was two security lines that you could see like from the like entrance or whatever, and there are huge signs saying like, oh, you can do regular all passengers pre-check, and then it had how long the wait was going to be. I was like, it's fantastic. I got clear though, best believe it. So
TSA
it
Nice.
doesn't even
Yeah,
apply
you're
to
heading
me.
to Spain. You gotta up your travel game.
Got to get my global entry in line.
Yeah.
Last time I landed in LaGuardia, I had to scramble to find a monitor because I thought I was at the wrong airport. It was clean and bright
It's
and fresh. It's like,
They updated it.
where did they divert us to?
All right, today we got a mixed bag of things to talk about. We want to touch about a little bit of CrossFit, not the whole event, but one piece in particular. We have the Pan American Spartan Race Championships to recap real quick. That was not at super compelling, I wouldn't say. And we're going to preview Grit Games a little bit. And I was looking into this, and it's looking pretty stacked. And same with High Rocks Australia. We're having the first event in Australia and some big names, at least on the men's side, that will be showing out. So we have a few things to talk about. Jack, right now, your name on this brand new platform that we're using today is 4.56. That's even short?
It might be 4.5.
It looks like 456 to me.
Yeah. It's 4.56.
That's your high school PR?
Yeah, in the 60
Just
meters.
kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So one time in college, I ran a 4.54 in an indoor mile. And that was not, I was just like not, I was coming off of injury and I was sick and just out of shape. And my coach threw me in this mile first event of the year. It was like in December or no. Yeah, it was like late November or December. It was like right after cross. And it was indoor and I just wasn't interested in running fast. So it was like 3 people in our race and I just like sat there and just got out kicked and ran 4.54. This is my freshman year. I was a 4.14 miler coming in and this is my first track event in college.
You ran 40 seconds off your PR and got out kicked.
Yeah. The guys on my team, because I was like a pretty good recruit coming in, they were like, dude, what the fuck is your deal? And I was like, I don't know, man. Just give me like 10 years and I'll fix it.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
But if you were like the CrossFit Games, you could have called it a 4.14 because, stop whenever you want, essentially, or measure it however you want.
Don't overstep. They didn't. They had a start and a finish line.
I know.
They sure did.
I meant
So
measure it. Yeah.
So we had the CrossFit Games happen this previous weekend, and there was a cross-country 5K that we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, just kind of speculating on what we think they could run. And when the results came in, Yella Hosta was the winner. He ran 16:39. Jeff Adler, who ended up winning the entire competition, he was 16:46, which is actually like amazing that he was able to do that. And Roman Krennikov was 16:54 on the women's side. Emily Rolfe 17:48. Katrin Davidsdottir was 18:20. Ariel Lowen was 18:31. And immediately from even the prior races in the age group competition, there was guys running like 17:30, something like that. And we're like, I mean, maybe that seems really impressive. Potentially as someone with an endurance background. Got up on Strava, saw that it was 2.8 something or other. And that was just consistently shown over and over. It was not 3.1. It was like 2.81. And it was not like addressed. And then it got into Jack Bauer's realm, and he said, not so fast. Everyone's going to learn.
Watch.
Everyone's going to learn today.
What I've been doing in the OCR sphere for the past several years, not getting by me.
No chance. And it blew up.
Definitely blew up. Yeah. That wasn't my intention. I was simply trying to point it out, and then people started tagging people, and then spread like bacteria, I guess. But yeah, it was kind of crazy because I messaged you guys on Thursday night, and that was after the age group heats, because we had a couple of data points on Strava where 35 to 39 age group winner, and then a couple other athletes. I just typed their names in Strava to see if they posted as well, and they were all 2.80 to 2.84 in that range. I'm like, it seems a little weird that all these people are 0.3 miles short. And from our experience running with the GPS watch, it tends to overestimate it. Would you agree with that? Like, you're going on a track and it's like 0.26, 0.27 going around. In general, that's what I'm usually seeing.
I have that Koros Apex 2 shout out. That actually, because that's one of their features is the track feature. Yeah. And theirs actually comes through short, and it makes me upset. It'll be like 2.4, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm much faster than this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But bottom line, 0.24, 0.26.
Can I pause you, Jack?
Yeah.
Did you just shout them out and then call bullshit? Did you just shout them out for being bad?
No, it's way better than a Garmin on the track.
But you're mad at them.
But I want to feel like I'm doing something that I'm doing. But yeah, when you're doing a Garmin, the people that stop before 4 laps because their watch
they
pops.
Stop in the middle of the straightaway. They're like, "That's a mile." It's like
the GPS watch set. Like sometimes
the track was long today.
It also makes me laugh when people are like, on the treadmill, should I go off the distance to the treadmill or my watch? And I'm like, I'm not exactly sure how GPS works, but I'm pretty sure you kind of have to be moving.
Yeah, you have zero if you want.
Yeah.
There's a cadence feature. There's an accelerometer in there.
It does, and sometimes it's like fairly accurate, but sometimes
it has to be
like
trained.
Way off. Yeah. So I'm like, just use the treadmill this time, and use the track when you're on the track.
Yeah, and adjust that percent so it's 1.5% uphill.
Yes.
So yeah. But yeah. Anyway, if it was off by 1/100th of a mile or something, or 3.08, something like that, wouldn't have cared. Would have been like, seems maybe they measured it a little short. Some people took a little better tangent, but when you're consistently more than the length of a track lap short on a 5K, that send off all the red flags right there. And I'm like, okay, I shared it with you guys. You saw it. Shared it with Dave Claxton, a couple other people. I was like, instead of just blowing them up, I'm going to wait until CrossFit has a couple days to see if they do something about it before the elite or the individual 40 athletes go. Because, it wasn't a secret that it was short at that point. A lot of people were talking about it, and they didn't do anything about it. So I'm like, sorry, guys, I got to post this and then go to a wedding and do that. And basically spent the next 6-7 hours, or not 6-7 hours. Well, yeah, hanging out with you guys and after the wedding also. And then opened my phone and there were a lot of messages and a lot of people talking about it. So kind of blew up while we were at Kirk's wedding.
Because, I got picked up by the meme page, the Make WODs Great Again page. His name's John Woolley, I think. He's done a High Rocks or two. And
got funny stuff.
And Hiller made some kind of post about it as well. And he's kind of like the
barbell spin also. Yeah. Hiller does this kind of stuff like all the time. Just critiques form, no reps, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, he's like an antagonist in the CrossFit space, like where there's not often people, because CrossFit, they're not necessarily kind to people who are antagonize or criticize the sport itself. In the past, that's kind of where it's been. It's like they want to control the narrative, and so they don't get a lot of people speaking out about it. But so, in our opinion, what's the issue here?
There's
Bracken.
one issue only.
What's the issue, Bracken?
That they doubled and tripled down on, this is the distance, look how fast we are. Not we, meaning the athletes saying it, but the narrative around the games, the commentating, all of that, which is, it's been verified, look how fast the runners can be while being so powerful. That's all. If they had just said, this is a foot race, point A to point B, we want to see who's the fastest of these people, fantastic. That we don't care. And some of them made that point was, why are you making a big deal? It's just a foot race. Yes, it is. But then you can't say things like it was measured 3 times and these are 17-minute runners. They're running 4-minute miles and look how great they are. Like, you can't make the next jump because then it discredits people who do run that distance. Like, you can't say that these women are as fast as Meg Jacoby because they're not.
They're not.
Because Meg's put in the
Division
work.
1 runners who only run.
And they don't need to be. They're impressive whether they run 2.8, 1.8, 5. It doesn't matter because we are blown away by what they can do. But then you can't add statistics and facts to put numbers on the performance and claim it to be true when it's not. It'd be the same thing what the lifting community would do if they mislabeled their weights as pounds instead of kilograms.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing. They mislabeled yards as meters, which we wouldn't care about, except they made it a point to say how fast they were at those yards as meters.
Yeah. And go ahead, Rich.
I was going to say that's kind of like what it's turning out to be, right? They measured it 3 times with a wheel for 5,000 yards.
Which is easy to do if you've never lived in that world. I have a wheel. You can set
it go by yards?
Yeah, well, it's imperial or metric, and you can choose your feet, yards, meters. It doesn't matter. I think you can set it to centimeters if you want. So it
Jack,
depends if
you
you
just got
have
a busted
digital
ass
or
wheel.
not.
Jack only has 2 settings on his.
Busted ass wheel. Many people have chimed in. They've got the same wheel that I've got.
You need a better wheel. You need a more
My wheel's fantastic.
robust wheel to get
I think
the
if anyone
yards
needs a new
feature.
wheel, it's CrossFit, not me.
No, they just had to click it once or twice more to
Yeah,
get
they
to
just had
the
to-
right setting.
Yes, they just had the premium version with 4 settings. Jack, you got the busted ass one.
Of course, yeah. I don't know. But the thing that also got me, you mentioned the 5,000 yards. They also did a post after the age group heat, and they're like, this kid won the 16 to 17. He called his shot because there was some guy who had a running background who thought that he was going to win the event. And they're like, he covered the 5K distance, dashed 3.1 miles in 17 whatever. So they said it themselves on their page that it was 3.1 miles, not 5K yards. Not that anyone in their right mind would ever run a 5K yard road race. I've never seen one of those, but
To
they
be
doubled
fair,
down.
Now you have.
most laymen, I'm just saying people who aren't runners, see K and think 1,000. They don't think kilometers. So they would say 5,000. That was a 5,000 yard run or 3.1 miles. 5,000 yards, 5,000 meters. I don't think they're seeing much of a distance because if you look on a track, 100 yards, 100
Rich
meters,
is
they're
like-
right next to each other. If you're not a runner, which clearly they didn't use runners to do this or running coaches, they didn't go off to the cross country course. They just created a little loop. 5K. And then someone typed it in, some intern typed it in, 5K equals 3.1 miles. Like, it wasn't the person who measured it, then wrote the social media. But I think we can have some grace with this.
I
It's the
understand that.
commentators who put this in motion.
Yeah, I'm saying if it's coming from CrossFit, one of their broadcasts or their outreach pages, they tried to make it seem like they were faster than they are. And it's no disrespect to the athletes. Like, to almost everybody on the planet, I've already mentioned this, a sub 19-minute 5K, averaging sub 6-minute miles, especially when you're that big and you're on day 3 of competition, most people are going to be actually pretty impressed with that. Like, coming from a running background, all 3 of us, it's not fast in our world, but to most people, that's a really good time. And I'm actually kind of impressed that the converted times for guys weighing 200 plus pounds with 18:16, 18:30 and stuff, that's moving, and low 19s for the women. Good for them. That's really impressive. But they're not 16:40 like they were trying to pass off.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think any of us, we would have scoffed at it like typical, because we all know, right? We've all been to CrossFit boxes. Go do your 1,000-meter run in between this. We've got our loop, and it's just around the block. It's famous in CrossFit for being.
Jack.
We just have our most convenient run loop that's close, and it's fine because you do it every time, so your workout's always the same. Murph, as far as I know, Murph is the only time most boxes. Now, some are fantastic, but Murph is the only time that most people will wheel out, and oftentimes they use their car. Right? That's just, it's what a non-runner does. So CrossFit's known for the running distance is always approximate, just like triathlon's known that 5K run at the end of a sprint try is probably going to be like closer to 3 miles than 3.1. Sometimes like 2.95. It's just known. And you make some of it in transition, and the rest is who cares? You're all running the same distance. It's okay to be known for being inaccurate with run distance. You just can't claim stats then.
I don't think the athletes are going to claim stats for it. Realistically, like they knew crossing the finish line. I'm sure a lot of them were like, I'm not this fast. But
that kid who posted on Strava was really pumped that he outkicked everyone with 1K to go, buried them and ran a 17 whatever.
That's true. But
it's when it's
the
commentators.
Yeah, you did mention, Bracken, you're like, be consistent every single time they do the course at their local box. Like one of the metrics of CrossFit is to be repeatable, consistent, measurable. And that's their thing. So you can test yourself over time and see how it is. No one has ever previously run a 4.56K time trial to see how much they've improved their previous 4.56K run. It just doesn't happen. And I think the issue is a lot of people are having an issue where you who cares? They race each other. It's like you can't compare yourself to them because you don't have the 5K. It's not that we want to be like, oh, we're faster than them or anything. It's, wow, these guys are so impressive. Where do I stack up? I got crushed by 30% less. I wouldn't be able to do 30% as much weight as them on this event. They're ridiculous. How would I have held in this event? Where do I need to make up ground or, adjust my training? That's the kind of stuff that people want to compare. That's why we just wanted a real 5K.
The CrossFit games in general, you shouldn't compare anything that comes from it because it is such a different beast than what you're going to – and this was day 3 or something of competition where this happened. So, like, really, like, you can kind of throw this out in general. Like, sure, like, your 5K. It's unknown and unknowable is what they're really known for. So, 4.56, that's pretty unknowable. It's just
no one had that on their bingo card.
No. So, like – and, yeah, like, the race itself – there's nothing that takes away from those athletes, right? Like it is just like and like it could have been, it probably should have been just like kind of what the bike was, and the bike was a little interesting as well.
Should have been a 10-minute run,
yeah,
or a 15-minute run,
a 20-minute AMRAP,
yeah,
these loops or whatever, and the loops are approximately a mile, and it could give people a general idea of what they're looking for. But yeah, when they're coming through the stadium in like 5:10 for their first mile. Chris Hinshaw has to be like, this probably is not the right thing. But like I said, CrossFit's not trying to hear that shit. And they're probably like, hey, man, this is 3-point run. And he doubled down on it. And so if anybody looks bad, it's got to be him.
It's Chris, yeah.
It's got to be him.
Yeah,
he's our emissary to CrossFit.
I know. And he's out, and usually, and he's like, okay, I think on the commentating, like he speaks really well. He like can explain things to a certain level, but sometimes he like stretches on things. He wants to talk about form a little bit too much, I think. But with that, like he's generally knowledgeable. So he knows what a 5:10 mile looks like. And like,
he also trains these guys. He knows they're not capable of it.
Exactly. And, but he gives them all the props, but that's what I mean. Like it's,
like if you were in person training some of your athletes, all their quality sessions, and all their work says they are a 20-minute 5K runner and they run 17:18, you wouldn't be like, man, did they knock it out of the park?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have a problem.
Third time they've covered the distance or something like that. That's Jack progression.
I thought it was funny. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. But there are 2 issues that pop up from it. The first is all the stands who jump in and be like, why do you even care? It doesn't matter. You wouldn't have that reaction if the weights were wrong. What happened when they had the Zebics and the Concept 2 issue? Suddenly distance really mattered, all precision mattered. So I don't want to hear that it doesn't matter because it matters in every other, like what if the wall ball wasn't the right weight or if the height was wrong or anything. Like if any other part of the competition was inaccurate and they're like, who cares? Kilos, pounds doesn't matter. Like there would be an uproar. But because running is like the redheaded stepchild, I'm sorry, Jack. That's just a thing people say.
My parents are together. Yeah.
That's good. You got half of it together. So that's one thing, right? That they would expect precision in every other event. But then the other thing, and this is going way off on people are like, wow, you're really reaching for things to get mad about. But in this world where being great at multiple things can be a differentiator, having stats to your name that are false gives you false clout. And people can use that clout as an actual difference maker in the industry. And an example of this would be like an Alex Vieta. who is extremely knowledgeable, extremely strong, an extremely good endurance athlete. But one of the things that he's used to make a lot of money is the fact that he ran a 4:10 mile. But he didn't. But he said he had a GPS file of it and he ran a 4:10 mile. And when people search for the best hybrid coaches, one of the reasons they chose him is because not only could he squat 1,000,000 pounds, but he could also run 4:10. And so it was like he could be in the Olympics in 2 different sports. Well, he couldn't.
Right.
But that false narrative does impact other people in the industry. And so like now you're going to have these, there's a potential for someone to be like, listen, I'm a 17-minute 5K runner. I can coach your running as well, or the coach who coached him to that point. It leads down the professional rabbit hole. And I'm making a big deal of nothing, but that rubs me the wrong way as someone who does respect what it takes to run 17 minutes.
Right.
You can't have a false distance, then be able to be promoted towards the next thing.
And yes, exactly. And we are remembering this right now because it happened a couple of days ago.
Right.
But in 2 years, like Yellow Host is going to have a 5K PR of 16:39, like straight up like, at competition. And that could be a selling point to that. What's going to be like, I don't care about the distance piece of this at all.
Nope.
Like I was actually kind of excited to hear this because of the team that I was coaching, Omnia, like that like 2.5 to 3.1, that's like an issue for CrossFitters. Yeah. And like, I was like, cool. If this is 2.8, that will be much better for them. And I was like, great. And I kind of expected like it to be short because they did the same kind of loop last year. And it was also very short. Did I say that? You
said they might just do loops around where they did biking or whatever. You're like, this could be it.
Mm-hmm. And they did that last year and it was short. And I was like, okay, well, this is, and that 500 meter now in retrospect, how like long do you think that was? Do you think that was a
420?
Yeah, right.
They're running 114, 115. It's like
400 meter, 500 yards.
Yeah,
probably was. It probably was. So that's Jack. That's your next rabbit hole. Go down and see what that 500 was in yards.
That, and then I expose that.
Or just because we were talking about that, right? Like the guys who won, it was converted to 60-second 400, which is basically impossible. So let's make their 400 times a little bit more accurate by going yards.
Yeah,
I do want to be clear. I'm not ripping Alex Vieta. I think he's a genius. I watch a lot of his live sessions where he's cycling and answering. I think he's a genius. But you also can't claim false stats. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I read his book, really like one of the earliest books I've read on the topic. I think it was like the only thing that really existed for a long time. And it was called Hybrid Something. And this was probably...
He was one of the first.
Yeah, this was probably 6, 7, 8 years ago.
He's no Nick Bear. Like, this guy is living the hybrid life on every level and has been doing it for 2 years. 20 years. 20 years, not 2 years.
Now, in 2 or 3 minutes, are we going to have to regress back to be like, I'm not ripping Nick Bear?
Oh, that was a reference of your podcast where Kent went in on him.
Kent did go in on him. He was like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Anybody? Anyway.
Let me just add a couple data points. So, July 23rd, Marcus Wallace sent this to me. There was a 5K road race in Denver. I don't know which one it was. Chandler Smith. So, at the CrossFit Games on this course, he ran a 17:09. What do you think his time 2 weeks before in a actual USATF certified 5K was?
At altitude?
Yes.
2010.
1946.
Bracken, what?
1946.
Rich, 2014. Super close.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Sam Dancer was also in the field. How do you think he did? He went 19:05. How do you think he did in Denver?
23:20.
23:12.
21:33. So you're looking at...
That's really good.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
He could deadlift like 600 pounds. Yeah. A monster.
I'm
but that's
blown
the
away.
thing. We are saying
really good.
That's very good because we know what else they can do. It's like, why do you need to pretend about it? Like, I just don't understand that part. But bottom line, there was also Colin Steefer. He sent me one also where, what was it, Wadapalooza or a couple of years ago in Miami. Mm-hmm. They had an actual 5K there. And people were running Justin Medeiros was like 2 minutes different.
Was that on the runner though?
Oh, that could have been. Yeah, but regardless, the times
erroneous.
Were, yeah, I'm not counting it as much realistically if it's on a runner. But
Yeah, like, and for reference, like Jeffrey Adler, who was 1646, and how much
Look
time
better.
are you adding? How much time are you adding to this? You see him with his heart rate monitor on? He's out there like an endurance athlete.
Looking like
Talking
VJ.
9%.
Yeah, it was 8.8 or 8.9% short.
What is how much? What is 8.8%? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So
for the winner, so
1830?
1639 is 1816.
because then he
That's
came
really
back
good.
later that night, same day, and had a 642 Olympic total, which is I didn't get to watch that because that was I think that was the night of the wedding. So I just wasn't locked in. But imagine he would clean and jerk 340 and snatch 300, probably more 350, 290, but like still like a lot of people can't deadlift 340.
No.
He put it on his shoulders and then put it over his head after running like an 1830.
Yep. And then same deal with like Jack Farlow. I don't care how slow he ran his 5K, as long as
He was pretty slow.
You know, if he was in the 23 whatever, I don't care. I think he was faster than that. But he did over 700 pounds for his total, 396 for a clean and jerk, and 305 for a snatch. If you can run and you can pull up those numbers, that's just so impressive. So that's the part that I just don't understand. It's like, just label your athletes as what they are.
Well, that's the thing. They don't need the help. If you walked into any serious gym where people are platform lifting and said, show me the people who can deadlift what these guys can split, like can snatch even. Mm-hmm. Like if you put those and then have them run a 5K, they're going to run slower than them. Like if you just went off deadlift numbers of what they can put to their chest, those people wouldn't break 24 minutes in a 5K. Like they're already so impressive. And I think that's what I think CrossFit feels attacked. Like, oh, you runners only care. No, like we know so much about running that we are blown away that your bodies can run that fast. We are impressed with you, but we were already impressed. So you don't need to say they're running 4-minute miles on the broadcast.
Right. Now you're just lying.
Now we don't believe anything you say.
My biggest issue with this is going to have to hear people who are going to see like High Rocks and be like, you know, kill it, Yella Hosta. And they're like, he might be like okay at it, but like his 5K is legitimately like 4 minutes slower than like 3 minutes slower than some of ours.
Rich,
you know?
You are a fantastic runner in the hybrid space.
Thank you.
What kind of shape are you in? You already mentioned you're in a 4:14 mile at some point. You know, you've run
years ago.
I know, but you've run like 30 flat for 6 miles within the past couple of years or so. You had a low 51 and change for a 10 miler recently. Like
what type of 400? I was like,
no, 59.
No, that's not true.
But what type of 5K shape were you in when you won your world championship in DecaFit, which is, for people who aren't listening, 500 meters, do some station, repeat that 10 times. So you're getting 5K total compromise run. I'm not asking what your 5K split in the race was, but if you ran a regular 5K during that time, what would you have been?
The Thursday after the Worlds, I ran 1530.
Okay.
So probably maybe 1520 if it was a perfect day, 1515 maybe.
So did those guys running the race look like they're going 17, 18 seconds slower per mile than you?
Not by my eyes. And this is like when like the dude from Barbell Spin, Brian Spin, like his main comment about High Rocks, like, oh, their movement's so bad. If their movement was better, like then they would be better at High Rocks. Like, yeah, but like this is literally what we would be doing. Like, oh, these runners would be better if they were better at running. Like it just takes away everything. Like it's just not the point of the whole competition, you know. But now we're just gonna have to hear people talk about like how good CrossFitters will be at High Rocks when they're going off of these times that are just incorrect.
That's exactly it. It's 3 years from now at like in Dubai at a fitness challenge. You're like, and we brought this guy in with a 700-pound deadlift and he's a 1645K runner. That's going to be their stat line. That's going to be the intro, and people aren't going to know the context. That's why you need precision, because it's not just in the moment, point A to point B, it's a race. It would have been the same finish order, more or less, whether it was 2.85 or 3.1. It wouldn't have mattered. But the long-term ramifications matter. It'd be like showing up saying, I have an 800-pound clean and jerk. Like, well, no, because we measured wrong. But you can keep it as your PR.
but it says it in the results that you have that. Even though,
That's what the issue is. That's why precision matters.
45s. Yeah.
It's not because we care what you're running. It's because it matters what you're running.
Now we're going to have to hear about it for years, and that's just going to be annoying. And then they're never going to show up. Maybe they'll show up. We got some showing up in Australia this weekend. Yeah. First Australian High Rocks. We have 2 top 10 finishers at the CrossFit Games in previous years who will be there in Ricky Garrard and James Newberry. And I don't want to take away from the athletes who are already here. James Kelly, who finished 8th in the world, he got called up at the last second. They're like, hey, somebody dropped. Who's ready? James Kelly was there to say, me, and finished 8th like a beast. And Chris Woolley will be there as well, who we've seen do really well in the hybrid space across DECA, High Rocks. He ended up being like 62 minutes in that High Rocks year coming out of injury. What he did, what's his Murph time? Not his official world record time, but I think world record attempt. I think he tried a couple.
He was 29 seconds off. Like
was that 30, 33,
33 mid, 33:40,
33
like
mid
that.
in Murph. So like, there's gonna be some real dudes in this race racing against high level CrossFit athletes who and Ricky Garrard has a posted 5K of 17:23, which I don't know if he did this on the same course that all these other athletes did theirs, but we're gonna see how that goes.
Well, because there's no hiding it. They're so good at movements and machines and everything that's a part of High Rocks from a strength side. They're so good at that the running gap should only close in a High Rocks. It's not just a standard race. Like, their running should only be better at a High Rocks than it would be in a 5K. So there is no room for interpretation here. Like, lunges, burpee broad jumps, sleds, machines shouldn't on paper trash them so bad that they go from a 17:22 guy to a 20:22 guy. So if they run like a 20:22 guy, it's because they are a 20:22 guy. Like, High Rocks won't lie about that. It'll take a bad runner, a good runner who's weak, and make him a bad runner. But a strong hybrid CrossFitter, it won't make him a bad runner. It'll make him the runner that he already is. It'll show you what really exists out there.
We'll see. It's a long race. Like, this is pretty long for a CrossFit athlete. And I know James Newberry's done some triathlon stuff since he's kind of stepped back from. Oh, he was at the regionals this year in CrossFit, so he's in good fitness or semifinals or whatever they're calling it. But it's still a long way. Like, an hour-long event is longer than anything we see in CrossFit. We saw a 40-minute bike ride, but
marathon row. I don't count that. So stupid.
But
an hour and 30 minutes of running is not something that we see.
And I guess I'm not even talking the full race. I'm talking more than one station. Like, anyone can fake a 3 to 4 minute run one time, but you can't fake a second one. And you certainly can't fake a third. So if these guys are not able to run with the hybrid runners by station 2 or 3, you already know what the deal is. So you can't fake 12 minutes of running at that pace. My guess is by coming into the ski erg, there's already going to be a gap to Gerard. And if not, if he does stay with them through the ski erg, he's going to pay trouble so badly after that. And it's not a knock on them. It's just, it's the downside of having these PRs is you believe now, hey, I'm going to be a really good hybrid runner.
Watch this.
Didn't we all have that happen in our first race in OCR, except maybe Bracken because you started earlier? It's like, I'm going to destroy this sport.
That was my first High Rocks.
Yeah. Everyone thought they could.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. This isn't like high and mighty. I am a decent runner and a good OCR athlete. And I showed up to my first High Rocks thinking I'm going to be really good. And I got smacked down really quickly and really effortlessly by the other athletes.
I would guess. Go ahead, Jack.
I was just going to say, we have a precedent of CrossFit Games athletes appearing at High Rocks in the past. Sam Briggs has done it. She won it one time. I know she wasn't in games winning shape at that point.
Won the games, yeah.
Yes. But I thought she finished dead last or close to it in the race she did. And then there was a guy from Germany, Josh Wichtrup, or I forget how you say his last name, but he's competed. And I thought he was in the low 60s, but I don't think he's broken 60.
Blacksmith?
Chandler Smith did show up and Jacob Hepner. But they did doubles against Hunter, and they finished basically at the same exact time, which
Hunter
is a
ran
testament.
Extra lap.
Right. Yeah. Ant Haynes, who got he was on that team. It was a British team for Gov Games.
Mhm.
Do you remember what city that was? It was a short name, like 4-letter word, 4 or 5-letter
Can't
name.
remember. I remember seeing like Will Morad also, no Olsa. There were
They were on there. They were on a different team, but
I know
this
that.
dude,
Yeah, they were on Team Nashville because they live there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got the whole state to pick from. So, but Ant Haynes did do Hong Kong, and he qualified for the games. He got a backfill spot for someone that couldn't make it. Made the cut, finished like 24th, 25th, which is really solid from a backfill spot out of a pretty weak region. So he's a really good athlete. He did Hong Kong, and he's not like a bigger, stronger, muscle bound athlete. I would say he's probably built a little bit more like a Medeiros. I would say, like not like kind of more of a generalist. He was pretty strong through skier, sled push, sled pull. He was good. And then like his row was 425, right? Like, so I'm guessing like this type of thing is going to happen to Ricky and James Newbury, where they could probably make up some time on sled push, sled pull. Skier, they could probably control and come out with everybody else. But I think where they could excel in the back half with the lunges and wall balls and row, it's going to be more survival mode at that point. And Ant finished he was 3rd overall and was 68.30, but like it's good. It's not
that
great.
That doesn't make the elite 15 for women.
Yeah, good point.
Well, it's too bad because they are going to crack early, and it'd be great to see them get to lunges and wall balls because you'd see these are the people that can go unbroken with pace, like Miriam or anything like that. Like these are the people that can do that, but they're so strong early that they're going to overwork the sled. We already know that receipt comes due. If we could just see them get to the lunges, they would show how incredible they are, because that is like their wheelhouse. They can work those kind of things, but they won't have access to it yet.
We wouldn't think so. And how much time they could actually make up on it's pretty light. If it was like something heavier or like overhead or something like that, a little bit more skill, then maybe. I wonder if we'll see Gabe.
He ran Thailand. He's been dealing with a back issue or some injury recently, and that was his first OCR in like 8 months. He posted.
He won though, right?
No, he got on the podium. Some guy, Sanjay, he ended up winning that by a few minutes. But yeah, he'll probably be there. I imagine it's not down the road, but it's as close as he'll get.
It's like a 12-hour flight.
Different continent, but yeah.
He just looks like he's always on the top of the podium because he's like a foot and a half taller than everybody in these races. Good Wisconsin boy.
Oh, yeah.
Represent.
You should have him on Running Public. I've mentioned it. Interesting guy. But I do have a quick data point on Josh Wittrup. He got 18th in 2019 at the CrossFit Games, and he ran a 66 flat.
Which isn't bad.
That's good.
I know.
Which isn't bad. Yeah, we had... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, man, it doesn't show his total running. Sorry. 33:12. So half and half for him.
Yeah, Brandon Luckett, he was a CrossFit individual. He was on Franco's Misfits for team, which was one of the favorites going in. They kind of underperformed. He was like 68 and change in Dallas. Like it's just...
I think 64, 65 is the upper limit of what you can do not having trained like this.
Yeah,
I think the running limiter just holds you back, and then it doesn't let you work the second half. And if you can't work the second half, you can't break 65, maybe 64.
Yeah, I was saying 62 for Ricky, and I think that would be really good.
I'd be
62,
blown
30.
away.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, he is probably the best CrossFit athlete that we're going to see in this. Maybe outside of Sam Briggs, and she was kind of thrown into that
tail end.
That tail end of her career for sure. And she just won her age group. She's still out there competing.
Did Sam Dancer do one?
He won his age group as well. Yeah. Or no, a
Hyrox?
I don't believe so. He did TMX.
Is that what it was?
Vellner did TMX, and there were several pretty solid ones.
Yeah, Ricky is the truth. Like, if someone can do it, it's going to be him. But I just think there's too steep of a learning and training curve to do it on your first.
Because, I mean, what do you think his prep was? He probably ran like an 5 to 8K outdoors 3 or 4 times. You know,
I don't know.
Like, I don't think he's doing threshold intervals in and out of the sled push over and over for an hour. I doubt it. And he's coming off of a shoulder injury.
Yeah. This in no way, shape, or form degrades them as an athlete. It just respects the test they're about to try.
Yeah, right. And it's great that they're going to show out and do it. It's a bummer that, again, I wanted to make sure to mention Chris and James because they are present in our sport, and they will probably take first and second. But, like, the eyes are going to be on Ricky and James Newberry. Like, that's where the story is going to be. I'm going to be dialed in. Should we do a watch along? What time was that be over here?
I don't even know. But who's going to miss the podium of those four?
I think Ricky and James. I bet it's like somebody else.
You think there's going to be a third place from some other random person?
Yeah, could be.
There's got to be one other person on that
hours.
continent that can break 63.
So, Jack, what time? If they're doing it at like 2 p.m.
2 p.m. It'll be 10 p.m. You might struggle to stay awake. I'll be prime time.
You'll be locked in. You're going to be the comedy hour is going to be just rolling along.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Jack After Hours until this weekend, and it was as advertised.
He was just getting warmed up by the time we were calling it. We left around 11 o'clock. BK, we were out there, and then Jack was trying to keep us staying in that bar. He's
Mike Ferguson was basically falling asleep. I'm like, we got.
He didn't leave?
Get you out of here. He stayed with us because he was talking with Kirk's sister, and then he started talking about a different topic, and I'm like, oh crap, it's 11 o'clock. You were supposed to leave at 10 with Bracken.
So he stayed at your place?
No, he drove to his sister's house.
He still went.
He took us home and dropped us off in Uptown.
He was our Uber.
It was very nice, very nice. He gave us restaurant recommendations for the next morning, and we took one, and it was spot on.
Good.
Uptown Diner, delicious, quality stuff.
I haven't been kicked out of a bar in a long time.
You did get kicked out. Yeah,
I got some illegals with you though.
Underagers, not illegals.
I think if you add up your kids' age, it adds up to 21. I think. So
I want to pose this to the audience.
Maybe
if you rent out a bar / restaurant, not even just a bar or restaurant, as a reception area for a wedding, does the normal rules of a bar apply to you? Which is no one under 21 allowed after a certain time.
In a separate seating area, not
in a separate seating area outside.
Outdoor patio.
We were given the boot because we had our kids at a wedding reception.
I don't think they rented that space out though.
They did.
It was reserved.
Food out
they
and
had
everything.
Food ready for it. Yeah.
Oh, that back patio was all rented out? That was all us?
You could have been eating all that and you didn't know it.
I had one of those like donut brisket situations.
Not good.
Interesting. It was interesting.
I suddenly was not a brisket guy after that one.
You was right.
It was like
a week ago.
Toothpaste. It was so soft and mushy.
All right, Jack.
I don't even count it. They wouldn't recognize that as brisket in Texas.
Jack's anti-barbecue is.
I got some hate messages. I got more hate messages on how I cook my steak than I do on the CrossFit Games 5.
Yeah, you got to keep that close to the chest, man. You can't just be
stick to what you know. It's comedy.
Comedy's your spot. So High Rocks Australia, apparently they are going to do some sort of live stream on Instagram, 10 p.m. Mountain Time. Jack Bauer is going to be just cooking it up. That's on Friday night for us then?
Yeah, they're ahead of us right now.
I'm not ruling myself out of this.
Let's watch this together, boys. I'm not ruling
myself out of this. BK, you going to be able to make this? 11 p.m.? That's true. That's true. Is there any UFC fights that you can kind of go back and forth on?
That's Saturday.
Oh, that's also true.
Friday would be facts. You might get ONE FC or you might get something like that, but you're not getting.
I'm interested.
Not getting UFC.
Let's follow up on this. Saturday is my fantasy football draft for my friends at home, a league that we've been doing. I looked on Yahoo. It's showing when you joined Yahoo Fantasy 0-1.
Oh,
have you missed a year?
Never missed a year?
Never missed a year. Oh no, hardly missed a season. I've even done fantasy NASCAR before. I got to hit up Braden who the picks are.
We were gonna do that this year and we didn't.
You guys are in house. You guys have enough fans in the home just to support your own league.
Sounds like people are gonna be picking Braden soon with how he's driving.
We don't need to fill his ego anymore about his driving.
I saw him play cornhole, so we don't need to That hurts his ego. Oh, we need to talk about that actually.
Also nice at cornhole. The premier Crocker in cornhole is in 5th grade.
Not yet, but he will be
going into 5th grade.
Bracken, what was your record this weekend in cornhole?
I know that I hit 4 straight to close out a game.
That's not
down
what I asked.
20-12.
That
was
true.
impressive.
Yeah, I think Bracken, you probably scored what, 12 total points throughout the
all on those 4 shots in a row.
And there was like 10 on that.
You gotta. I was throwing lefty most
You
of the
didn't want to
day.
lose, Bracken. You told me before the game started, you're like, I have never lost a competition to Jack where he didn't poop. And I was like,
We
all right.
didn't get confirmation on this. No one checked you.
I was wearing light khakis. I turned around and nothing's out there. So.
There was good bathrooms and gross bathrooms. And
I didn't
Jack
use
chose
either
his
of them.
pants. They're
But Rich and I, we took him down.
You won 2 out of 3.
that's the series.
And Mike and I, we
I
ended
run
up beating
15
you as
that
well.
morning.
You did run 15.
My legs weren't underneath me anymore.
That's valid.
Yeah.
And impressive that you were able to and we shut down the wedding too. They're like, hey, we need these cornhole bowls. We're like, not yet.
We gotta finish this. Sorry, Kirk.
Not yet. Like the sun's
You wait
setting.
for
We
us.
need to get out of here. So I had our draft for fantasy this weekend, and I wasn't gonna make it. It's usually live, but it's back in Pennsylvania. It's like I just can't swing this type of travel. I went last year. It just wasn't gonna work this year. So I'm doing it remote. But I lost last place, and the punishment is before the draft, you have to play Edward 40 hands. So, and Amy's away on a camping trip that I had to bail out of for this draft. So I'm going to be sitting at home in front of my computer, just like drinking 2 40s all by myself because I lost. So I have to drink those 40s, and I'm not going to be, but like I'm only going to be able to tape one. You know, like I don't think I'll be able to tape both. I could try.
You could tape them to your head and do straws.
I could certainly do that.
It's not Edward 40 straws. It's hands.
Edward 40 heads.
Unless you can use some sort of voice-controlled draft. You need a hand.
Well, it's before the draft. And that's the thing. It's not great for parody because I've lost before. And in that draft, I was all drunk, and I just did terrible during the draft. So
Wait, so what are you doing 40s
punishment.
for?
That's
No,
just
I
the
guess.
punishment.
Sorry. When? Prior to the draft?
Like, as soon as the person's done with the 40s, then we start drafting.
Oh, I thought it was during the draft.
No. Yeah, no, because you need the hands.
That's terrible. That's a 2-part punishment.
You're going
And
to lose again next year. It's like, these
So what
cans are looking
happens?
good.
They just all live stream you drinking your 40s until you finish?
I'm gonna be playing it over Zoom. Yep, and be like, all right, done.
So it's a whole day thing. How long are you going to take?
I did pretty well last time. It was like maybe a half an hour last time, and then have you guys had malt liquor, Jack? I'm guessing ever.
I don't drink anymore. I have had in college, but
Only King Cobra,
not exactly
Club
something I
45.
would do again. But,
King Cobra is not good, but yeah, like back when 40s were a thing that I would purchase based off of financial purposes. I was okay. I was okay with the taste of it because it was less about the taste and more about the effect. But revisiting malt liquor as mid to late 30s, someone doesn't really drink that much anymore. It's not good. It's not an enjoyable experience. So I'm not looking forward to this. But Friday night I'm free. Saturday night not free. Friday night we'll watch along.
I went to school with a guy who kind of hung around the track team, and he lived at the track house, but would always, unprompted, play Edward 40 hands at gatherings or parties.
By himself?
Yeah,
Would he recruit
who's doing
people?
it tonight? He's wrapping up. He's like, someone wrap this hand. We're doing Edward 40. Like, no. His name was
got duct tape with
Metzger.
him.
We're like, Metzger, we're not. No one else is doing 40. He's like, you guys will do it. Like, this is like the 11th time this year. You know what the precedent is. You're doing this by yourself, and then he'd always end up pissing himself. Just like, he loved the experience so much. He would do it unbidden and by himself.
Piss his pants. Oh, that's
Metzger,
great.
come on, man.
I hope to not piss my pants because I'm probably just gonna have those 40s and that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be like, I'm done. Let's get this
You have to
draft
do it
over.
No more Drake
Because it gets
worlds.
When it gets warm, this is like really not good.
And then it gets painful to hold it all in. You just got to get it done.
Just got to get that shit done.
If you have to puke and rally, you puke and rally.
That would be upsetting if 240s made me puke just based off
laptop
volume. Well, because drunkenness that wouldn't happen, I don't think. But just volume, it's a lot of beer. So
I might even choose that as an option.
That's not a bad idea. Just so I don't have to live with 80 ounces of beer in my stomach. I would be okay with that.
I don't think the human body's designed to absorb 80 ounces of malt liquor in one sitting.
Really? Huh.
I would say it's not its primary purpose.
I don't think that was in the original plan.
No, I don't think so either.
The blueprints don't show that.
We persevere, and that's what I will do, and I will hopefully not get last again. All right. Spartan Pan American Championships. I was not very locked in. The homie VJ was down there, and then there were some other athletes. Angel showed up. Eugenio was there. Ciro was there. So a good field of Mexican athletes. And then on the women's end, it was Nicole Miracle. It was Bernice Barrera.
Good.
And who finished third, Jack?
Claudia Pavia.
Yeah, okay. There are no results up.
No,
for the women.
I
women.
checked several times.
It wasn't happening. So I had to resort to finding people's
Pictures.
Instagram handles, and that's not always like a full name. So that was your top three. It was top four on the men's end was VJ, Angel, Eugenio, and Ciro. That course was just I've caught pieces of it. That was just straight up on concrete. That was amazing. I should have made that flight down too.
Yeah, it was walls and concrete.
When you run out of City Field and you do a portion and come back in, or maybe not City, like who had it? Nationals. Anyway, doesn't matter. You come out, you do whatever. That was the whole thing. It was just we've never seen anything like this.
And that's the part of the stadium that I'm actually good at, is when there's a little bit of running space. I'm like, oh, let's go, and it ends in like 100 meters.
What would you have taken?
Probably like 6th or 7th. I don't know. I can't be sure. So what were some takeaways on the men's end? Jack, what were some key takeaways you had on this end of things?
It was a good race by normal standards, but it was basically a standard race in Mexico featuring VJ and Nicole. That's kind of all it was. Guest appearances by them.
That's true.
Still very solid, but VJ just looks so relaxed. I didn't ask him, how much he was pressing, and you might have talked to them about it, but he looked very comfortable, and Angel was kind of sticking in there a little bit, but every time VJ would go to the rig, he'd just make up 5-10 seconds and just kind of coast it through the next thing. It wasn't an exciting course. Like, it was basically get up and over something. There were no low crawls. I know that Palmerton, that was the big talk there. There were no carries, never mind double carries.
There's not a single carry?
Not one carry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a horizontal elevated cargo net, the Phoenician Pass. That was kind of the only thing that they had that took time besides the rig, which if you looked at the implements, it was you had to jump out to a rope, grab on a couple rings, go, and then you had those short trapeze bars and then alternating those. And I think there was another one later on, and it was over water. So you did see some people fall. They probably shouldn't have realistically, but it was an innovative design. Like the jump out to the rope. Like I was fine with that. But overall, it was climb up and over something, run fast on concrete, shoot
balance
a laser
beam.
pistol. It's true. That used to be at stadiums, that style. But overall, wasn't too impressed with the course design. But if you look at, did you watch any of the live coverage, either of you guys?
Nothing live. I caught it after the fact.
The
IG
recorded
stories.
coverage. Yeah, they actually had a decent amount of spectators, which
Nice.
is cool. So, and I mentioned ahead of time that the people in Mexico were very much looking forward to this weekend because it was like the 200th anniversary of the Mexican Army or that facility that they had, and they just had a lot of pride in that they were hosting it right there, and you saw people show up, and yeah, they were definitely pumped. But from a U.S. perspective, it kind of flopped.
The payday was pretty good, right? 5 stacks for that win.
I think Nicole was happy she went on 2 days' notice.
That's a good day of work. BK,
it confirms two things to me. One is that Angel has been and always will be the truth. I'm adding him to like the Ryan Gowiskis and Yuri Force and Chad Trammels of most underrated OCR or underappreciated OCR athletes of all time. People that just show up and get the job done most of the time. And he probably just isn't going to go down as one of the top, however many of all time, but should be somewhere on those lists. What do we have him ranked all time?
I don't know if he's on the rankings. Let me check.
He should be. He should be in right around 10 to 12. I think he's had a very similar
10
career.
to 12?
He's had a very similar career as Ryan Kent, in my opinion. They both have probably like 4 or 5 top 15 finishes. I think they both got 6th one year and 8th or 9th a different year at World Championships. They've had Angel's got 2nd at Big Bear. Kent has won National Series races. Angel has a few other podiums there.
Well, we are proving Bracken's point. He's not even on the list.
Yeah, and that's an omission.
Revision. Yeah.
Well,
so it's on us as much as anyone. But the second thing is that I think it proves, at least to me, it may not prove it to anyone else, that with this attempt at a formatted 3K series with what were the buzzwords early on? Repeatable and watchable, all these.
Fast, they said.
The moment they choose the venue and scout it out, which they do months in advance, they get an idea for what they're going to do there. They need to release that note sheet to the athletes. This is the 3rd race in a row where people showed up and were like, what are we doing? We're running on concrete the whole time? Like, what are we doing? We're doing a 3-minute mogul crawl. What are we doing? We're doing 120 pounds of sandbag. Like, you can't be surprised at these short bang, bang, bang races that something major is happening. I just think for the sake of the sport and for how many people would have turned out if they knew this is what it was? All the speedsters probably. If they knew that prize money is going to be matched up to this style of course, anyone who can run and wants to run clean would have gone down there, and they probably would have skipped Palmerton to do it. So I just think you need to release more. Yeah. I think you need to. Alvaro would have been nasty. Yeah, all those guys. I think they just need to release the info early, because clearly they got a bunch of people excited about one of the venues, and everyone showed up. And then the after effect is none of them went to the next one because they weren't impressed with the product. But if you had released the details of the product, you would have seen triple the field size. I truly believe that. So I think they're doing themselves a disservice by following the old style, which is unknowable kind of, what are we going to do to you? In a 3K, I don't think there's a space for that now. So I think they can capitalize on, maybe let's lean into different venues, different things are tested, but let's say what we're going to test and let people come out who think they have that skill set and rip.
It is interesting that in the past, a lot of people complained, another mountain at altitude, because it was Utah, Big Bear, Tahoe. Like, that's just what you had, Breckenridge. And it was just the formula for half the national series, if not more, was just a mountain at altitude. And then this year, we've already talked about how no 2 courses have been alike, especially this one. This one's like way different. We talked about how some of them had a brutal low crawl or heavy carries. This had none of that. It was as flat, as fast as any obstacle race we have ever seen. I would bet it probably had the least amount of elevation change in the entire history of Spartan race, I bet.
So do you think that they should have this planned out, at least the concept of what each race is going to test? Because it does seem to be that they are testing different elements at each of these courses, which I think is cool. But we're not knowing until, like you said, Bracken, until like the day before, or like when the map comes out on Wednesday. Do you think they should at least have some sort of blueprint like this? Like, here is our altitude heavy carry race. Here is a race that's going to, like, your crawl capacity. This is going to be fast speed and obstacle proficiency. At least that, to give people up, because right now I'm guessing they don't even know what these courses are going to look like until they step foot on the venue.
Historically, when they scout a new venue, someone shows up and looks at it and gets a lay of the land. Or it's done during Google Earth or whatever, and then they sketch out roughly what they're going to use, and then the course designer gets that and gets to work with that sketch out of, here's what we're going to do. So there is months in advance an idea of what's going to happen.
Okay.
They don't do it
Like-
2 weeks out because Garfield Griffith, he's already doing OCR Worlds. He's posted some stories for Mammoth Lakes, and if you remember Abu Dhabi, they kept having these teasers months in advance on what the course is going to look like, and that's just a sand dune.
Sand.
It's like, yeah.
Because of the logistics of what they have to do and the semi truck that they're going to send, they need to know, like, what are we bringing and what do we have access to and where. So there is a preliminary reconnaissance tour done. And at that point, you can know, like, guys, heads up, Mexico is going to have no vert and it's going to be pavement. If you know nothing else, that's what you know. Like, they know what they're going to use at Palmerton roughly. We're staying at the base of the mountain. It's going to be 600 feet of elevation over the course of 3 laps, and we are going to really make it a grind. This will not be a speed competition. Just letting people know in advance the general bio of the course, I think, would really help, because you're asking people to travel internationally and pay for a lot for travel. And I think what they've done this year is make people gun shy. Like, I don't know if I really want to do that. How many times have you heard that? Like, I'm not going to risk that. I think people are going to be gun shy going to Abu Dhabi now. Like, do I really want to spend thousands and go all the way there just to find out there's a gotcha?
Yeah.
Pistol
At least
shot?
release. We are using a giant sand dune or we're not. This is deep sand or this is runnable beach sand, or there's not going to be a dune crawl, but you are going to have to run up and down it. Just some things like that so that people can decide if they want to go and then decide how to train for it.
So we were obviously making fun of CrossFit screwing up earlier.
What?
They did have a pretty good Venn diagram. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it has 3 different things: gymnastics, weightlifting, and monostructural. And those are kind of the components that define CrossFit. And if we did the same thing for OCR, it might be hill running, speed, strength, or obstacle proficiency and strength, just something like that. And you have 3 races, and it's like, here is, the gymnastics equivalent. Here's the monostructural one. This would definitely fall in the monostructural one. And, the mountain climbing might be the other one. So you could piece it together and have your 3 elements, and then in the middle, it's like, that's what Spartan Race is defined as. I think that if they branched it out and you kind of knew which one you were getting into ahead of time, that would actually help. I
like that their Venn diagram has a full section that requires a definition for 99% of people. Like, what am I going to watch today on TV? Oh, we're going to have a monostructural event.
Monostructural racing.
Yeah. What is that?
That's what we like. That's what we like. Just, I know CrossFit has a good way of, like, fancying up the words that they, that they're using to define things. Is the pistol going to be the difference maker in these races when all said and done? Like, if we get everybody, all the best on the course at the same time, like, is the pistol going to decide a world champion or something?
Spear has in the past.
That's
Atkins
true.
would have won 2014 Killington if he didn't miss his spears twice. Like, we've seen it happen. Did Hunter? He was in the lead and then he missed his spears. Or no, he hit a bell when he shouldn't have at Tahoe when he was leading one year. But we've seen spears cost people the win.
Yeah, I think that it will. The more you get the good people together, the less it takes to be a differentiator. And if everyone is not losing more than a half second on any one given obstacle, but you can lose 10 or 12 right here, I think that it is going to matter. Imagine if it's the last obstacle. Let's say you were finishing on a track in the Olympic Stadium, like if they get their way and this is an Olympic event, and you come flying off monkey bars and 3 people run up to it and you stand there and one person runs off and the other one's just sitting here like, what's going on? It's just I still find it bizarre that you would have something that the average person can't practice.
Yeah, I know.
Spear throws were always a hassle to practice, but everyone can find a way to, like, throw a broomstick. You'll get the general gist of it. Like, what's the general gist of an electronic recoilless laser pistol that doesn't use a laser to show where you're hitting? Like, what do you do for that? Nerf gun?
Would go. I've never shot a regular gun. Never shot a laser pistol. If you did go to a range, like, would that give you would it help some?
It would help 2 things. It would help sighting. Knowing how to look down the iron sights. It would help your setup and possibly your posture. And it would allow with breathing while firing. But because there's no recoil, it's actually just as useful to go play an arcade game. So maybe arcade work is the best.
Can you just play laser tag? That shit is fire.
Honestly, yeah. But could you go to a shooting range and get your heart rate up to 160 and then run in there and start fire? I don't think they're going to let you do
throwing
that.
down burpees.
We just talked with Corinna Coffin about this on her episode, that when they train for tactical games, they all get together at a certain time and go to a range at a certain time when the owners know what's happening there on board, and they bring their barbells and they're deadlifting and doing thrusters and farmer's carry, and then they come over and shoot. But they have to establish a time and a place to go do it. But yeah, probably most people wouldn't want you running 400s and then running straight up.
I take that back. I'm surprised they let you do that.
So that would be kind of and maybe that's why we saw like a Chris Roblowski and Rylan Shadag do a tactical games, just to see if they could replicate the feeling even a little bit one time.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess long answer, yeah, it's going to make a difference at the highest level.
People are going to love it too.
Atkins and Kempson. Yeah. Atkins was getting dropped by Kempson slowly, and then all at once on the pistol.
But we got our guy VJ, sharpshooter.
He was quick.
He's not losing time in there.
No.
And he basically was running with the fast or the top Mexicans in lap 1 of the finals, and then he got to the rig. He's like, "Sorry guys, I'm passing it out." And it was
like those guys are fast.
10-second swing. Yeah.
Yeah. But those guys are definitely fast.
We noticed it last year when they had the race in Puebla. They had a lot of like Eugenio and Ciro. They would literally 20 feet short of the obstacle, completely stop, walk into it instead of just going into it. They're so fast on the in-betweens, but their obstacle game is so weak. It's such an interesting style to see. And
those are my people.
Like the Americans, we tend to get on it pretty quickly, get in and out, but we're not as smooth. And you watch the Europeans, and they're just full speed in and out, like so much smoother. It's just such a contrast depending on where you are geographically, how you approach obstacles. And this race confirmed it again.
So what's next? We have another
regular season
race. Yeah, we're back to the regular season. This is like the NBA tournament, right? The mid-season tournament that they're rolling out this year. Same thing. We love it.
Except it's done 1 week before the actual tournament. Tournament time, play your last game, back to the playoffs.
NBA's taking a page out of Spartan Race's book. They're looking at all the top players across the world and they're like, what's Spartan Race doing? Oh, championships in the middle of the season?
I can't say that anyone's ever seen Adam Silver and Dave Watson in the same room at the same time.
Probably not going to happen.
Does the NBA have a Zendesk?
I'll use my contacts to find out if this is the case here.
What's their Venn diagram looking like?
let me see.
Rebound.
If they got to take notes from what the CrossFit Games did. It's like, what if we did 9.5 baskets
on one side?
No net, just the rim, or the double rims.
Shoot or shoot.
Yep. Shoot or shoot, man. That's how it goes. All right. So what is next? The next Mexican race?
October. Yep, October. I think it's a week before OCR Worlds.
Imagine the turnout
of the series.
We got a draft for something else. I was looking at this Grit Games list, and I was like, this is actually pretty stout. We could draft for this, because when are we going to be able to draft again? We're going to have to figure something out.
Mexico, the last one, you were definitely going to be able to draft.
No way. You think there's going to be better people coming to this?
Kent, Leon, Manuel Defoe, like they're all heading down there. Tyler Veerman, he can win the series if he wins the race. I think you're going to see people go down there.
With this race was $5,000 for the win. They're going back to $1,500, and you're telling me people are going to show out for this other confusing one?
People come over for OCR Worlds, a lot of them from Europe the week before. They're in North America already. Might as well get one more tune-up race and a chance to make money.
Did people tell you this, and you're like, belief?
I believe them, I guess.
You just believe. I know you do. And you most likely have been duped.
I'm usually in believe in the people, what they tell me if they're going to race, unless it's Ryan Kempson. But he's been a lot more straightforward recently. So
A lot more. That's saying something.
That's like saying
Two in a
Trump's
row.
been more truthful this year.
2 in a row.
Not even, because he was like, "Oh, I might not race now." The day before the race,
He gave a legitimate
Yes.
answer, though. It was, I have a hamstring thing, which was true. And I
Yeah.
might or might not, but I want to.
And
Usually
I didn't
it's
mention
like,
that publicly. He
screw
told
off,
me,
man. I hate the media.
Yeah.
which is typical.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing the turnout will be poor. Maybe we'll have to set a line for what that means. Like,
It's going to be better than what it was.
I mean, if you guys want me to just keep
Which is
my
backwards.
victory on the season standing, I'm fine with that. If you
no,
want
that's
to
what I'm
draft
saying. We
me.
got to draft for something else
What's the point series payout?
for our season.
5,000. I think it's the same payout as
Right.
what you'd get for running Mexico. Yet you only have to do one time.
For fantasy?
Yeah.
The Pan Am's.
So who's going to win that? It would be Manuel's.
Whoever
Is it
goes.
all
And
all
does best.
3? That's a good point. Show.
No, I'm saying like
wrapped
whoever,
up.
if Veerman, Manuel, whoever shows up and does best wins it, as far as I know.
No, and Hawk has a chance also. I already messaged Manuel the outcomes because he was trying to decide if he wanted to go.
Is it 3? Do they take your top 3 or is it all 4? How are they?
3 of 4.
What's Zendesk? Bracken, you're locked in with the Zendesk document. What did it tell you?
Yeah, but I didn't know about the additional link.
It's top 3.
There's an
of
extra
4.
link?
Top 3 of 4. So I messaged Manuel Defoe. You win $5,000 if you get the overall season win. The only way that Manuel does not win is if Tyler gets first or second, Rylan gets first, Batros gets first, or Hawk gets first. Other than that,
Everyone holds their own destiny in their hands.
yes.
Win and you're in the money.
So it's between, say those again, Veerman, Rylan, and Hawk?
Batros and Hawk.
Batros. Does
So
Manuel
Batros
go by
has a couple
Manu?
fifth. Yeah, he does.
Manu. I like
Yeah.
that.
Manuel.
Manu Defoe. I like it.
Yeah.
Great. We need a Manu in our sport. So, but it's looking like him if he just. Well, I guess Veerman. Okay,
Veerman first or second. Yeah.
maybe we're locked in.
Any intel on the course?
I couldn't tell
None.
you. It's too early.
None.
I didn't know that this thing was going to be a parking lot until the week of. So
But also, wasn't it like 7,500 feet, this parking lot?
it's Mexico City. It's got to be high
Yeah, I
up
think,
there.
I think it was up there.
Where's the next one?
It starts with a Q.
Okay, we're on a roll.
That's
Now
better
we're
than
cooking.
we are.
5971. It's at Querétaro.
That's at 5,900.
5900. So
Kenneth
it's Colorado
Otto?
Springs.
Okay,
That's like
that's. Is it
Reasonable.
a mountain or is it going to be like kind of how?
I don't
these are,
know
like,
what it is.
high-
I just know the city.
high
I
plateaus.
typed it in. Yeah.
Well,
You can pronounce
what's the
it?
city say? Yeah, you pronounce it really well.
I just said it's at 5900.
pull up topography.
Pull the topography.
God, really? All right.
See what it
You're a
looks like.
topo guy.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
it's-
Especially recently.
Yeah, even looking at maps, aerial, measuring them out, letting
I
people
probably
know.
spend an hour a day looking at maps for my job. Actually, like
Yeah,
I love that you had that in
I'm
your back
lying.
pocket when the haters were coming at you. Like, how you got to be some stupid internet person. You're like, yes, and I also know how to do maps because I look at them all the time.
yeah,
Cartography. Ever heard of it?
yeah. This is not in Mexico City. It's to the
Okay.
south for sure. I'm just gonna drop like a random Google Street View just to see if the area looks hilly. And this
Mountains.
is
Volcanoes.
yeah, it's on top of that 17,000 foot volcano that Rylan went up to.
Oh, 17,000. Jesus.
I mean, it looks reasonably hilly. Not like I don't know. It's central Mexico. They have the Mexican Rockies. So
High level analysis here on Race Brain Podcast.
you do it.
No, I'm just saying that was us. I did just do that because you did it, and we are a unit. I was
Yeah, he
claiming.
delegated.
I was claiming. Yeah.
If they go to the northeast of the city, there's definitely a mountain range there. If they
Great.
stay closer to the city limits, it's probably not. So my guess is they will probably be a little bit outside the city because if they say they're gonna do it in Denver, like it's at Breckenridge, just like an hour away.
I want to see it straight down a mountain for 1,000 meters and then gondola back up.
Oh, that.
But the gondola is part of the race, so you can sit in the gondola.
Oh,
gets
so
out of there.
yeah.
You got to time it right because it's leaving with or without you.
Yeah, there's like 5 people on the gondola up for like 3 minutes. Like, ugh.
You say gondola, interesting.
Is it gondola or gondola?
I used to say gondola, and then I realized it was gondola.
Yeah. That's how it's said.
It's a Northeast thing, yeah.
Wait, what is it? Gondola?
Apparently.
I say gondola.
Gondola? All right. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not
but you
saying
also
it's
say
right.
bag. We already did this when we were at the wedding, and you say some weird stuff up in Wisconsin.
You know what Jack wants to talk about more than anything, though, Bracken? Grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know Amy was such a grocery gal.
She's
Yep.
in. She's
Yep.
in there.
Big grocery store girl.
If you're interested in talking about New Hampshire-based grocery chains, Jack Bauer,
Or your
Amy
wife.
Remmer, they are the people to talk to.
Yeah, we know
Man, it was like I walked into a think tank on grocery stores, and I was just trying to tread water and stay afloat.
As soon as she said that she shopped at Shaw's, I'm like, I gotta set you straight. No one shops at Shaw's.
Her brother was Market Basket through and through. He'd give you roast beef, charge it for
We're going
bologna.
off the rails.
That's crazy.
All I know is if they had an Aldi in Colorado, I'd switch, and it would be game over. But is what it is.
Red, you get some Red Thunder or whatever it is.
That's exactly what it is, and don't you act like you don't know.
I get confused about the lightning or thunder piece.
I don't know how you drink that crap, but anyway.
All right, let's move along.
Anything else?
Straight down the gullet. Let's talk about some grit games. We got a little grit game to preview. This is going to be cool. I mean, this is something that is going to be live streamed through OCR Report. It's been built up. They've done a great job of getting some high-level athletes to commit to it. It's a good payout. I think it's $5,000. I think it's five. Is it 531? It's like a decent payout. $5,000 for yeah, absolutely. It's based in or around Houston. It is August. It's a full day competition. It's gonna be warm. But some of the notable names to talk. Let's talk about the names. We'll talk about the competitions a little bit. Maybe we could like pick who wins each event. Let's just do some stuff like that, and then we'll just add that to the fantasy piece.
And before we start, this is an example of an event that's built around we're going to challenge you in different ways. And there are some things designed to maybe make you fail or take you by surprise. Not that much by surprise because you're aware of how it's going to go, but you've never felt this kind of thing in most training. This is how you do it correctly. This is how you do an event where we're going to really challenge you. We're going to test you in weird, different, not weird, but like atypical ways, but you're aware of how you're about to be tested.
And it translates to the events that you are preparing for.
Yes.
It's not like this one-off and, let's go run into the woods and navigate with a backpack on for 12 hours. It's specifically designed for the OCR athlete. And if you're not training for specifically OCR, if you're a hybrid, there's going to be challenges that you might not see. But if you have been doing OCR for a while and you train a specific way, like it should be in your general ability level. And this is not the first year that they've done this, which I also think is a testament to them. They're not like trying to just blow things out of the water, like check out our new event, look how great it's going to be. They've been doing it. They know how to run an event. They've gone through it several times. So this is the year they kind of raised some money or dedicated some money toward it, reached out to try to get some athletes out there, like personal invitations. And I think it's going to be great. And I think it'll be fun and interesting. So on the men's side, we got Ryan Kent showing up. We got VJ Jones, our Pan American champ. How much boost is VJ going to get in our rankings from this Pan American Championship? I mean, again, in 10 years, we're not going to know who's at this race. It's just going to be on there. Be like,
I
damn,
think Hobie's off the Mount Rushmore now.
he's got to be. I mean, he's got to
Hope
do
he doesn't have
something.
one of these.
It's got to do something for him. I mean, or I guess VJ's getting up there though. VJ, the next person he has to pass is Cody.
Which gets
So-
easier every year.
Yeah.
Does
It's
it?
easier, but still
Yeah,
hard.
he only gets further from everyone's memories.
Well, he still has 2 world championships.
This
so.
isn't like comparing Babe Ruth, though. Like, Cody won a world championship like 5-6 years ago. It's not that distant.
But he has that 2 world Spartans, which maybe. I don't know.
This is
PJ
like
can come away with
Nomar
3K.
Garcia Parra type
Whoa,
distance.
don't bring him into the equation.
People
No
are
matter.
starting to forget about him,
Not
but he
me.
wasn't that long ago.
What's your take? Kevin Millar? What about him?
No, I'm just saying Nomar was my guy growing up.
No, Matt. Pedro.
Pedro
All
was
right.
my favorite player, yeah. Anyway.
So VJ, I don't think Ryland's going. I think he is. And there's something I don't believe he is going to be at the race.
You just keep slapping that tag on.
Just might
You
show
got
up,
something
might
going
not.
on.
Something's going on. He continues to be mending
This would have been
something.
a fantastic event for him, though.
I think it'd
If
be
he
If
cool.
you ever
doesn't
see
go.
him healthy, he's going to blow us out of the water.
Well, we saw it last year, and that's exactly what happened. Actually, let's go through the workouts first, so we can kind of then speculate on what it's going to look like before we go through all the actual attendees. So there's 4 workouts over the course of the day. There's a strength workout, speed workout, obstacle proficiency workout, and then an endurance workout presented by RaceBrain. And the strength workout is basically a carry workout. It's 20-minute AMRAP. You do 1 400-meter run, and then it's a series of 100-meter bucket carry, 6 timber flips, which is I'm assuming is a big long pole, 100-meter sandbag, 10 sandbag over shoulder, 100 pounds, 80 pounds, 100-meter farmer's carry, 55, 45, and then 1 Herc hoist, which they have heavy in quotes. So it's just kind of like continuously heavy moving under load. Not a ton of running, but just moving with like load on you.
Do you know if it's position based? Like if everybody finishes exactly 4 laps and you don't get the same score, it's if you made a little bit more progress on that 5th lap, you'd finish ahead. I'm assuming
That's a good question. Because we saw that in Battle Bunker last year, right, where they had that carry at the end. They had like markers that would essentially mark off how far you got.
Yeah, there's rankings of your finishing, even if you all accomplish similar work.
Jack,
It's like in CrossFit games, if you get capped, I think it's or American Ninja Warrior, if everyone falls off, it's like who reached that first, I think, ends up getting credit.
Yeah, so it says scored how many stations you can complete. Jack, did you talk with Kenny about the scoring?
No, I didn't.
I connected you guys and everything. What happened?
He didn't reach out.
I connected you both.
He knew what he was going to say. Percentage of winner. And he argued back. We don't want it. And then they moved on.
They kind of do a percentage of winner already. They're interested in the Jack Bauer method. Jack used to live in Texas, hates barbecue because of it, eats his steak medium well, and so maybe that's all Kenny
I
needed
put
to
the
know.
well in medium well. Yep.
And then the speed workout is a classic Yancey Camp workout. I believe this is where they got this right. The 400 burp test. It's a 3-minute AMRAP for 24 minutes, so it's 8 total laps. And as you finish your 400 with the remaining time in those 3 minutes, you do burpees. Your score is the total burpees after the 8 rounds.
Ryan Kent had an interesting strategy when you were talking with him about this. I don't think it's going to be the best one.
He's gonna like walk and then try to just crush burpees.
Yeah.
BK, have you done this one?
No.
It's disgusting.
It's a. You guys just took it for the burpee 10K and just ripped it off.
No, I don't like personally doing tests with open-ended reps.
What do you mean?
I get as many reps done as possible, and I just want to know my distance and know my reps and do it, so I never did it myself. The one I tried was the 5K one, where you run down the football field, do 5 burpees, run back, 5 burpees, and I think, what do you have to do, like 34 or something like that?
A gazillion laps. Yeah.
Is that like 54 burp?
Yep.
You did that one?
54. I've done that one.
I DNF'd that one at the Cheyenne Canyon High School track. I tried it at altitude early on out there, and I thought, I'm not having any fun, and this is not going as fast as I would have thought.
It is not a fun workout.
I did not DNF it at the Cheyenne Mountain High School track.
Bitch.
Yep.
Cheyenne Canyon, right? Cheyenne Mountain?
Cheyenne Mountain High School.
Cheyenne Mountain.
I did this in Philadelphia, and I couldn't have access to like 100-meter straight anywhere. So I think I did a 50 out and back. Is what I
could
did.
have got a wheel and just picked the point. I'm like, yeah.
Did you DNF?
You think I didn't think of that, Jack? There's just not even like 100-meter patch of like free anything. It's not on concrete. In
did you
Philadelphia.
DNF or did you finish?
I finished. I don't know
what's your time.
I have no idea. I
Jack?
could look back on Strava.
I couldn't. It's been like 5 years. I think it was
Are you on the leaderboard?
34, 35. I don't know. I could look it up.
Wait, is the leaderboard workout?
Not
It was a while
that
ago.
leaderboard.
I'll look it up. Keep going. Yeah.
I remember I made a post after I did it. I was like, I just did the dumbest workout I've ever done in my entire life. And Yeah, that one was not that fun. So that will be interesting. It's a grind. It's a complete grind for this workout. 24 minutes of just it's going to be hot. It's going to be pretty miserable. The next the obstacle efficiency workout is basically just a rig. They have a big rig set up out there, and I think it's just a rig for time, or how far you can get through. It's how far you can get through it for time. So
back and forth, right?
I think it's just one time through.
Oh, one time through.
Right, Jack? Do you know?
Can you describe it one more time?
I believe it's just a rig that starts and ends, and it's how far you can get.
It's
or
distance covered, I thought. Yeah.
In the past, I know they've had one with how much can you get done.
Okay, let me see if the workout is serious.
But they change things slightly year to year.
Yeah, they had a disgusting hang one last year where they increased you had to hit a certain amount of time hanging, and then you were doing farmer's carry in between, and
that was the endurance workout. That wasn't this part. This is more
nasty.
just like a rig. So there's walls, monkey bars, pegboard. There's a pegboard. That could be a game changer. A balance beam. There's gibbons, twister, a tyro, inverted wall, multi-rig, and a rope climb. So maybe it is for time. I'm not sure. It's a mandatory completion, probably for time. And if you can't,
Gotcha.
It's a trap.
So it's not just a rig.
No.
Okay.
So real quick, just to go back to 400 burp, because you were asking about the leaderboard. Miguel Medina got 253. Forrest Bowe got 252. I remember I got 209. That was my highest. It was 26 per round.
How did Forrest get beat by anyone?
I know. It's
What was
disgusting.
what was the top winners? What did he get?
253. So that's 32 around.
31. Yeah, 31 and a half.
That's
really
nasty.
good.
Miguel's got that dog in him. He has a nasty type of fitness. I think he's going to run anyone out of the building, but he can do some of these things.
Chris Woolley, he was the first to break 240. I remember him having that.
And you can do burpees.
Miranda Kilpinski, 189. Alex Walker, 182. So if you're a woman shooting for the 180s, you're in pretty solid ground there.
I think they're going to do it too. I think they were doing it to a marking as well. So I think that you have to jump and touch, which is a good way to.
It'll be lower reps. So just
it'll be probably lower reps because it's a good.
Jumping.
It's a good way to standardize an event like that. You just don't worry about hips. Don't worry about how high your hands have to go. Just touch a marker that's 6 inches above your outstretched hand. 6 inches.
Isaiah would have been nasty at that. Yeah. He never did it.
Isaiah's name is on the list of registering, so maybe we'll get to see him. The final workout is this is what we helped them. We kind of came up with the concept, and Kenny already had a pretty similar concept in mind where he did want to do some sort of last person standing. And Jack actually had the idea of kind of making it some sort of beep test where you start and finish in the same spot. And I believe there's going to be some sort of wall to go over each time, and then some sort of task to complete on the back end. And then you come back, and it's beep test, so there's going to be rest built in, but also it's eliminator style, so it's not necessarily
behind most.
Yes, you're not going against the beep timer. You're going against the competition. Whoever gets back, and then there's some sort of set amount of rest, which I believe will descend. So it's a combination of both, which I think is a great idea. If I had to say so, great idea.
It's we came up with it.
No, but really, I think that'll be a really fun, interesting test. Again, I'm not sure what the tasks are. We wanted it to be a wall because they're fucking hard. So but I don't know what the task is going to be on that end of it could be some sort of sandbag, something or other, some sort of assault bike. But that's going to be a grind. It's going to be some
needing
strategic...
to get a certain amount of calories while the counters tick in, and you've got 8 seconds to get 5 more calories and then get off. Oh, that would be disgusting.
It has to be something like 10 calories or something like that, which which is going to be an interesting way because you can't really settle. You have to kind of push to make sure you're not last. So it's going to be pretty hard right from the start.
Yeah.
So you better not forget to reset to get that monitor set up each time.
True little.
That'd be a game changer.
We'll double tap. So that's what we're looking like for the events. And again, this takes place over the course of one day. So 4 workouts that are all going to be 20 something minutes outside of maybe the rig. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hot. I didn't see the weather, but I'm guessing humidity is in the forecast.
August in Houston, it's going to be high 90s, if not 100 degrees.
And yes, not dry.
Definitely bring some fuel and electrolytes because you're going to be sweating like crazy. just make the most of your downtime.
Yeah, right now it's 97 in Houston. On Saturday, it's looking like 104 is what it's calling for the high there.
Check Columbia, Texas, because I think that's where they are.
Is that going to make that much difference?
It's closer to the coast, so it might be a little cooler.
Okay.
Regardless, 97, 104, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot. I don't have it. So, again, Ryan Kent's going. VJ Jones is going. Then some other notable names. Ethan Brown, Austin Azar could do really well in this. Dylan Moralia is going to be out there. Johnny Mares, who is defending champ. Marshall Couples, who I believe qualified to Battle Bunker finals. And then Adam Hawes, who we've seen do really well in some of the power output stuff in DECA. Hawk Call was on the initial sign-up list. Isaiah Vidal was there. Derek York was on that. Caleb Yates. Again, not exactly sure who's going to still go, but that's like pretty deep. And that's just, and there's other athletes still that I didn't mention.
Deeper than Mexico.
Who are going way more, way deeper than Mexico. Way deeper than Mexico.
Prize money.
On the women's side, Calypso Sheridan, Tara Jackson, Carly Wopat, Chris Wagloski, Kara Mobley, who we see like in High Rocks doubles do really well. Ashley Heller is on that list, and Allison Outlaw, who I think won her age group in Birmingham for High Rocks. Who's rock solid. Who's rock solid. So that's again, just
very respectable field. Like no guaranteed podium spot.
Better than Mexico on the women's end as well.
I
have to say. So who's going to win that first event? What do we think?
What was the event detail again? The first event.
Let me see if I can pull this up.
Ryan Kent.
He said he's going to run.
Carries.
That's the carries.
Yeah, Ryan Kent.
That's the carries.
Or Austin.
Austin could be really. I mean, yeah, especially he's not. Austin's just not a super fast runner these days, but he can certainly move weight. We saw it when he did his High Rocks. I think he was 61 and change in Dallas, I believe. He had the best lunge and he had the best farmer's carry, or second best farmer's carry of the day. So we know he can move weight under fatigue as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
we're sleeping on
it's
VJ.
Disrespectful to everyone else, but it's Kent or Austin as the favorites, I think, the in Vegas.
Yes.
I still think we're sleeping on VJ because he's put on a lot of strength and he can still run, and his compromised ability between. I know we're comparing him to other OCR athletes, so it's not much of a big difference, but don't sleep on VJ.
No.
Yeah, VJ could do really well. And I think if anything, he just needs to kind of mitigate damage. With Rylan not going, I think that's pretty helpful for VJ in this event because he would have done really well in that event. Also,
he's made for that kind of thing.
I might have picked. That would have been tough. I'll still go with Kent. Probably Kent, VJ, then Austin.
On the women's end, I mean, I'm taking Carly in this. Where we've seen her like really excel. We haven't seen her a ton in this like hybrid fitness, functional fitness space. She won the final in Go Ruck Games was basically carrying stuff
with a bag.
from point A to point B, and it's like she is like has the most size out of all these athletes, so the relative weight will be less for her, and it's not that much running. It's only 1/400, and then it's just moving weight. And she won the Battle Bunker workout last year, where it was
yard work.
Last year, where it was like the cleans, the squats, and then the carry.
Now, if she didn't just run a 50 miler and 2 weeks before do a crazy triathlon and just post that she's feeling a little fatigued from doing ultras at the moment, which is kind of surprising. I think Chris Wagloski, after what we saw her do in Big Bear with the double sandbag carries, having some running and used to the heat, I don't know. I feel like she would have been a favorite, but because of the fatigue, and I know that that's crazy to say because we're talking about Chris, but let's be real, she's had a crazy schedule.
And she's overrated.
Can't leave that out.
I mean, I think it's Carly and everyone else, but I think everyone else is led by Tara. You just look at Deca Strong and Deca Mile. She's the next one up here.
Workhorse.
And I think she's dusted Chris in that. Take that, Chris. And I think I put her third. And and on top of that, she also had a 100-miler the week before the triathlon. So we forget about, there's also 100 in there. So she's, at some point it always comes due, and it didn't for an entire year for her.
We're going to see.
Carly, then Tara.
Second event is the 400 burp. So 2 miles of running with burpees in between each lap. If Hawk Call's there, could he be an issue?
If Isaiah's there.
He's going to run so slow, though, don't you think?
How is he at burpees these days? Is he too big?
Isaiah?
Yeah. He used to be the
I'm
best.
sure he's good, but
yeah,
he is pretty big now, though.
2 miles is a lot.
I think he's round instead of 2
miles at 24 minutes. I mean, he just won a CrossFit competition, like a pretty good one here in Colorado. I saw some athletes who were from Omnia went out there and took it down. $600 for winning a CrossFit comp.
Woo.
That's big money.
That's taken fourth at a U.S. or a North American Elite Series event.
No, fourth
or third. Third.
Yeah.
So
I think Ethan Brown will do well.
I don't like his strategy that he was talking about ahead of time.
Kent was talking about running like 730s and then just trying to hammer burpees. I personally would not do that. I would probably try to run 80s or faster and just give myself a little bit more time and just rely on my fitness to get me through that and have like an extra, what would that be, like 15 seconds of time to do like, how many burpees is that? 4 to 5?
You could slow down 1 second per burpee. At that point, you're not rushing through it, and then you can go right into the run. When I did this, all of mine were 84 to 87 for the run times. It sucked towards the end, no doubt.
It's an OCR tempo. I think that's how you have to look at it. Is you're tempoing both of them. You run just at threshold, which for a lot of these guys is 520 to 540, and then you burpee just above threshold. I think it's just compromised tempo. I think it's trying to go I think if you run too fast or if you burpee too fast, then you crack. But I like the fact that Kent's going in with a strategy that's bold because it'll be fun to watch.
You can always change it too. Like if you go out at 520, like you're going to be forced to change in the opposite direction. If you go out a little bit more conservative, you could start to press the run later. It gives an option as opposed to like what you're saying, Bracken, just like sit and just hang on.
Well, and I meant below it actually. Like
now you're changing your story.
I'm talking about one effort the whole time, not necessarily a pace, but an effort. Just like this is my OCR threshold. I know this is going to be. I know the duration. I just have to hold and sit right here. Where I think you're running at like a 7 effort early on, and it progresses to an 8 and then a 9. But
if you're capable of doing 35 burpees your first round or whatever, I would do like 28. Just hold back. You're gonna fatigue.
Yeah, I think I did when I did that after this. I was not very versed in pacing something of this duration with multiple domains in there. So I think being a little conservative on that first round of burpees, where I think I went out and just hammered. I was like, I'm the man. Watch.
Give me Derek York.
Going Derek York. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of pacing and things like that,
he'll be conservative
he's
up front.
so good at this kind of thing, though. He really is. That's not sarcasm. The Yancey Camp workouts, he's nasty at these.
Because he has great like strength to weight ratio, and he's fast, and he's like athletic. But yeah, if he goes out and tries to cook the first like 800, gonna be a long rest of the way.
So I looked at the leaderboard and the 54-270, the 5 burpees, run 100, go back and forth, that shuttle run. Derek has the fastest time. He's over a minute and a half faster than Chris Woolley at this. And Nick Riker actually was 2 seconds behind him. But John Howell has the fastest time, 31:13. Derek was 31:26. So he can do burpees and compromise run like anybody.
Yeah, give me Derek.
John Howell was that dude. These sports arrived a little bit too late for him.
He would have been at NAU. He was nasty
and good. Yeah, good.
Like really good runner on their team. Yep.
It'll be fun to see VJ on this, just to see, because he's so controlled in OCR is what we're typically used to seeing him, but mostly because the demands and the obstacles within an OCR don't really tax him. But you're not cruising through burpees. You're not coming out the other side of burpees like unscathed. So it'd be interesting to see how like 3 to 5 laps in it's going.
We've seen 2 things out of him that gives me a lot of confidence. The first is DECA. DECA you can't cruise through. It puts you in a spot, and he handled that. And the second is Seattle. I've seen him run after burpees very well once. It was many years ago, but between those two, I think I can rest assured that VJ is now an athlete who can go into the dark places, even though the typical people he's competing against don't take him there.
That's a good point.
I think he's going to do damage control in this event and not care about winning. Just get third, fourth, and then save your energy.
Really? This is his only place to run.
I think no. I think the obstacle, the long rig, he wants to make sure that his shoulders, everything.
All pushing.
He should be able to sell out on this and still win that obstacle one.
Yeah, this is all push. Obstacles are all pull.
Yeah. I think it's Kent's to lose still.
I don't think a third or fourth, but I think damage control is second place. Like Kent might. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit, and we'll talk about it at the end. But yeah, VJ will be interesting, and like he's been doing more burpees lately, but he's said like I have not done burpees for training because that's not something I expect to do, and I don't do often. So the burpees are a bit concerning, but he's just a good athlete, man. He's fit. He can do burpees. Why not?
I think Caleb Yates will surprise people. I don't think he'll go top 3, but I think he could be top 5.
No Smith machine out there on this event.
Yeah, he's the Smith machine monster. He liked that nickname.
We should have included that in our endurance event. But so Caleb, I think we all agree Derek wins, and then VJ, Kent, they're fighting for second.
Bent rows on the Smith machine is your task. Yes.
Pistol squats, Smith machine.
That would be like hard. That thing goes straight up and down. On the women's end, like Tara. You would think this would be a Tara Jackson event as well. Yes. I mean, Calypso has been very impressive in what we've seen her in DECA so far. So maybe her as well. I don't know. And she does well in all these hybrid events that pop up that she jumps into. So that could also be a place for her.
I think this will start out being the most competitive event on the female side.
Yeah. There were only a couple women I would take over Tara. Might be Bridget Brown if she wasn't pregnant right now because she's a monster on burpees.
She would crush this event.
Just very athletic.
Give me Lauren.
Nothing against Tara. And maybe Lauren or Meg.
Meg would be great at this.
Tara
Miriam.
Miriam. She's just like camp. She's almost like camp.
Which one, Guillaume Bosset?
No, both. She knows how to do burpees, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Her and Alex Rudania.
Yeah. She does this. She does the 400 burp every single race she does. So.
She's like, I call this an OCR run.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that it would be Tara from this list of athletes. It would be looking like Tara. This we'll see what happens with Carly on this because it is a lot of running, even though it's like 2 miles of running, and she's so tall that burpees are not going to be something that is going to be great for her.
Chris will do well despite her height because she's so mobile and flexible.
Oh, for sure.
She's one of the people that catches burpees like low in a squat if she wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like just what kind of juice that she has for the runs, who knows?
I think this is Tara's to lose. It's going to be a very, very good battles in this race because Calypso, Carly, Chris, like you mentioned, I think they're going to do work. Ashley, I don't know how she does burpees, but she's a taller athlete, so this might not be one of her ideal movements, but she can run, so that's going to help her also. Also,
another name, I believe Calypso goes by Callie. So we got Manu and Callie. That makes sense.
I'd go by Calypso. That's a cool name.
Yeah. Twisted Metal. All right. And the third event is the rig. I would guess that's VJ. I don't know. This is going to be Ryan Kent damage control. Yes. We didn't mention Dylan Moralia on that carry workout.
Not
he could be a problem. Dylan will do well.
He could be. It's not really a running event. On the burpees, it might be a problem. Yeah. But through the rig, I don't see anyone beating VJ, and I don't see anyone beating Chris. Austin Azar could be.
Don't doubt the guy.
Well, that's who I'm looking at. Could be a problem for Kent, or even like Ethan Brown, who's been in Hawk Call, who's been out there. You know, the actual OCR people who are still kind of sharp in OCR. This is a damage control event for
Johnny Mares literally trains there.
That exactly. These are athletes that can slide in front of Kent and give him like a fifth or sixth, so he's going to need to win pretty much everything else, I think.
You're always looking at the CrossFit, or you're always hearing them say, "Oh, you need so and so to finish." You need 3 people in between these people to create some separation in the points. And I think this is where Austin Azar is going to help some people create separation, and Kent is going to wish that he closes the gap as much as he can, but I don't think he's ever done an OCR other than Spartan in his life.
I think this is a percentage of winner, though, Jack. If he hammers a couple of these, I think he could give himself a cushion.
Okay. It's true.
Nice job.
I'll be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you better be. Next week we're going to come back. You're going to have to be critical of this.
If they use percent of winner, this is like the gold standard. So.
And none of the women's end, I don't know. I don't know how
Chris.
Carly's going to do something. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'm saying who else? Ashley Heller. She should do well.
She fell off the rig in Palm Beach.
Yeah, but I mean, she had that clean a couple years. She had that clean race in Asheville.
Asheville when she got fourth.
Yeah, where no one else had that.
I don't hold short course failures against people.
Yeah, Jackie should be up here defending people.
Granted, this is short course.
Even Leon failed.
Maybe it applies.
This isn't going to be like, but if you're like, if it was, you had to do 30 calories for time and then do on an assault bike and then do the course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking heart rate. I'm talking grip.
Yeah,
right.
Grip can leave you real quick here.
Yes, that's what this is going to test.
I think someone like Calypso, who has done Savage Race this year, and she did the Spartan National Series, like we kind of see her as more of a hybrid athlete at this point because that's where she's been focusing for the most part. But she won her age group in the National Series last year for Spartan, and like I mentioned, has done Savage. I think that's going to pay off for her,
for sure.
But this is Chris's to lose.
And if Callie Sheridan gets second, and like is getting second in everything, like
Points.
she might be in a really good spot to take the full thing.
You don't have to win to win.
Last event is the beep test, so it's going to be like high intensity intervals with motherfucking walls in the middle.
The two best OCR athletes are going to win this. All the other events could be won by them or not, but the two best OCR athletes will win this.
You think so?
Yeah.
OCR, yeah? You think VJ will beat Kent in this?
Yes.
It depends what they choose for the work, but yes.
With the task. If VJ's just so good at walls. Walls.
VJ just has that gear where he's like, oh crap, I've got a few seconds, I need to make it up, and he can just do it. And I think that getting in and out of stuff, Kent's a good mover. Ethan Brown and Austin, they're all good movers, but I don't think that they have that just change 3 seconds instantly by just getting through stuff as fluently as VJ. I don't think anyone else has that.
You know who needs to do this event?
Kempson.
Bracken Crocker.
This event?
High intensity,
Depends
walls.
what the task is.
A little bit of rest. What task could they have? I mean, if it's dunking a basketball,
Don't give me a salt bike or ski erg.
what if it's a Schwinn bike? No,
Give me a Schwinn.
I mean, for
Schwinn.
10, if
Schwinn
it's like
this
10
event.
cals on an assault bike and then you got to run back, you'd be fine. A little bit of rest, high intensity.
I'll blow
It's a
out
BK, man.
3 rounds.
Stop this. There's no crawl. Maybe it will be a crawl though. I don't think we've crawled yet.
A burpee crawl unders.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Just
That would be my worst exercise. Burpee crawl under thruster. Burpee crawl under thruster. That's it. You had to combine all my weaknesses into one.
to see how it goes. But there's walls in there. We know you can do those. On the women's end, I mean, this could be a Chris Rogowski test as well.
Tara.
For sure.
You think Tara?
Depending on the output. Yeah, if there's like
Tara
a
will do
machine on
fine.
there. Yeah.
But
Chris
like
can do it all day.
Chris with the walls though.
Yeah, I guess if we're going on absolute endurance, like she's not going to be fatigued from the several rounds beforehand. But Tara did do all 3 events at Deco World Championships last year in 2 days and hung on.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not sleeping on Tara. It's just that it's very OCR centric this round, depending on the work.
Yeah. And there definitely is a difference between OCR success and hybrid success. So I know Tara hasn't had the same success when she's done OCR in the past, despite being arguably the best in the world at what she does for DECA. So yeah, if it is OCR intensive, especially after doing a previous OCR event right beforehand, I don't think they're going to make the last one as hard OCR wise, but yeah, Chris is probably a better mover and can make up some ground there.
Chris has that effortless, smooth way of moving through obstacles and over things.
She figures
It
it
just
out.
doesn't cost her much, and she just rolls into her stride.
Yes, where Tara's never been an excellent OCR athlete, and in terms of she's a grinder, she figures out how to get things done. But in terms of of athleticism, she's probably a little bit on the lower end, below what Chris is anyway. So I think the task on the other end would have to really be favorable to her. And if it's assault bike, then she's looking
She's
good.
the heavy favorite.
Then she's looking good.
I put her and Kent in the same boat in this, which is they're the I think the next best, and they could absolutely win it. It just comes down to what's the task.
Yeah.
All right. So
What would you
I've got
choose
like
as
2
the
minutes
task?
till I've
Rich?
got to go to PT. So yeah.
Well, I like I like assault bike or like sandbag cleans, but I think that they have already done sandbag cleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do one wall or two?
2 walls.
Out and back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I guess that'd be 4 walls. Probably just 2, an out and back with 2. 4 would be too much.
Okay.
Too much. All right, Jack, pick your top 3 real quick.
Top 3 in order: VJ, Kent, Austin, and then
Taking
on the
VJ.
women's side, I'm going Chris because she's trained there. Tara, Calypso.
I'll pick just so BK can figure out a way to not pick. I think Kent wins unless unless VJ absolutely crushes that rig and just gives himself like a huge cushion, and then I'll go Austin. I'm gonna take Callie. I'm going Callie for the win. Chris and Tara.
Nice.
I'm gonna go Chris, Tara, Callie, and Kent, VJ, and then throwing all sorts of shade at people. Ethan Brown.
All right, I like it.
All right. Mostly
Disrespectful to
similar.
many people, but I can only
Jack.
hedge so many bets this year.
Brain teaser, race brain teaser.
Brain teaser. Yes. I don't have the graphic, but
Fine.
that's fine. I can just read it. A lot
Read
of
it.
audio listeners.
It's better for social anyway. I'm telling you.
Yes. So we've got first place, second place, third place, etc. At a race. There's only one athlete in the history of Spartan who has finished first, second, third, all the way to 20th. Every single unique top 20 place in history, male or female side. Who is it? That means they're basically a very good athlete, but when the big dogs show up, they're probably fading a little bit. But on the local scene, they're pretty
It's
good.
1
So,
through what?
first through 20th.
I gotta be up there. I gotta be close. No, I was kidding. 1 through 20. 1 through 20. So it would have to be a regional athlete who races often.
I'm gonna blank on his last name, and I feel really bad for this. I'm gonna take Tyler.
I was thinking Tyler McCready too.
Tyler McCready.
Tyler McCready, that's your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
You guys are
not
both right.
Wow!
It's crazy. Bracken, like a legitimate shocked face right there.
It's just there's a lot of people to choose from, and you didn't even specify gender.
Nope.
Yeah,
I said
And we
either
both
gen-
knew it.
I was
I
thinking
gotta
that
say,
same thing.
I am very impressed with you two right there.
Thank you.
That legitimately impressed me.
Thank you, Jack. All the rest
Good
of the
for you
time,
guys.
it's bullshit when we say we're impressive, but this weird
No,
fact that no one cares about is impressive to you.
What are you
Here's
talking
why.
about? No one cares
Because
about. Yeah. So
He's
so
good,
they're-
and he wins local races, but he throws himself into big races, regional races, series races, and he shows up no matter what fitness he's been in and what his training's
Yes.
been like or health. He shows up, so he's just had a lot of weird places because he's always there, but he's good.
He's very good. And we just saw him
Seven-
again in Palmerton do really well.
Yeah,
1
seventh
through
place, I
20th.
think.
Oh my God, that's
Okay.
amazing that he's gotten that.
Rich,
guys,
we
I
see each
I
other
did not
one
expect
time in
that.
person. Oh my
Connected.
goodness, mind melt.
That
Physical.
would have been the world's loudest high five if you guys were in person right there, just celebrating right there. So there are about 10 athletes who have 19 of the distances. Neither of you are on it. Kevin Donahue and Charles Lasalo both are missing a win, but they've got all the other 19. Jeff
Donahue
Shady.
doesn't have a
Coast
win.
No.
What?
Yeah, Jeff
Now, are
Shady-
you counting his age group or just
No,
elite?
no. This is only elite finishes.
No.
Yeah. Jeff Shady needs an 11th place.
Shady.
Ian Dyerly needs a 15th place. Dustin Livingood needs a 16th place. Michael Bly needs a 15th place. Brent Trail, 19th. So he's got almost all of it. David Labros and do you remember Lefty Capanadze?
Yeah.
Both of them are missing 20th. So very close. On
This is
the,
going to be very hard to get because of
I know
how
you're going to be like,
not-
oh, I got to
the
finish
races
15th. No one's doing that.
When
What
there's
do I
11
have?
people in
1
the
through
league.
what? How deep do I go? 1 through 8? What am I missing?
I don't know. I'll get you an answer after
you-
that. I just have the screenshot of like who's one away. And then on the women's side,
I'm gonna start building
Andy
out my
Hardy.
streak because that's gonna take
Yeah.
skill to get like a 17th. You got to time it.
Especially
know.
when there's 15
Seriously.
people in the
Excuse me,
league,
what
it's
place
gonna
are
be-
you in? All right, go.
Slow down. I got to fail this real quick. But Andy Hardy never got a 10th place. Ashley Lorraine, who's still racing, needs a 14th place. Krista Dustman, she races still. She needs a 16th. Sue Luck, do you remember her? Needs a 19th. Heather Bukta needs a 20th. Elia Figueroa needs a 16th. And then Juliana Sproles, back in the day, she never won a race, but she was just missing it.
She didn't.
So she didn't win a race. A lot of podiums.
Didn't she
in the
win
early
World's
days.
Toughest?
She got, I think she got 56 miles or 48, whatever.
Never
that was
won
the
a
first-
Spartan.
Never won a Spartan race.
I suppose
But-
DJ Fox might have the same stat at the end of his career.
He might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Anyway,
squad.
good job. I am genuinely impressed.
You
Thank
thought
you,
you
Jeff.
were gonna stump the panel, and the
No
panel cleaned
chance.
out
Wait till
house.
next week. I'm gonna make sure you guys look like idiots next time on trivia.
We don't need help.
Yeah.
Verified. I saw you in person.
All right, squad. Jack, go fix yourself. Get that knee right. Get that PT in order. We'll be back next week talking about Grit Games and High Rocks Australia. Looking forward to it. Maybe watch along, boys.
40 hands watch along lockdown.
All right.
right.
See you, dudes.